Greetings and salutations, everyone. I hope everyone is still doing well, and welcome to tonight's night ending bonus. Before we jump into this very interesting night ending bonus, a couple links. As many of you know, I rely on Patreon, PayPal, channel membership, and the merch to help the channel to continue to grow and go. Links to Patreon, PayPal, and channel membership is in the description below. Merch displayed directly under the video. Also, Dogman Frightening Encounters, Volume 1 through 3, the audiobook versions. They were written and researched by Tom Lyons, narrated and produced by me, Jeff Nadolny. Those audiobooks are available on Audible, Amazon, and iTunes, links to which are also in the description as well. And finally, last but definitely not least, if you'd really like to help support the channel to continue to grow and go, simply subscribe. It doesn't cost a cent. Click that like button, takes half a second. If you don't want to miss out on any of the informative uploads I put out daily, click that bell icon, and folks, please leave a comment. Why? Well, because all these things really do help the channel to continue to grow and go. And yes, folks, they do matter. Now, everyone, I have taken far too much of your time. Let's jump into this night-ending bonus, shall we?
These field notes are from an anthropologist studying Navajo skinwalkers, or black magic witches, circa the 30s, early 40s. These were-animals, they run like cats. They run around wearing a wolf skin. There are a lot around Black Mesa and Canyon del Chile. The Mexicans have some as well. They go near dead people, take them out to a house where somebody has died, and put the bones there. Just like the Zuni, who take bones out of the ground, bones of their own family, and bring them to their home. They carry the bones on their back. They rob for jewelry, but don't kill. They meet together someplace at night, mostly in a cave. They take off their clothes there. The Lagunas have some as well. They would go from Zuni to Laguna and back in one night. They can outrun the fastest horse. It could be a woman or a man or a boy. They all do this. Werewolves. Were-animals use poison. They climb on top of a hogan and drop it in a hole. They can sure run fast, can go right through the mountains. To learn witchery, you have to kill somebody closely related to you. It has to be a full brother or a sister that you kill. That's why people get stuck and don't learn all of it. If you do kill your brother or your sister, you put it right into this medicine. You can get rich with witchery, just like you can with blessing way. An informant says that he has heard that the witches can wear the hides of bears, wolves, or coyotes and turn into these animals. He's also heard that there are witches among the Hopi who get into bowls and can roll right along. At night, witch people dress up in the skins of wolves, coyotes, or owls. They run around dressed up like that. They paint their bodies and their faces with the white clay, which we use in chants. They dress with lots of beads. Nobody could catch them on horseback. The only danger to them is if they stumble in a prairie dog hole. You could tell the were-animals from the real animals because their tails move constantly and their eyes are just slits through the mask. Also, the tails of a real wolf sticks out behind. Those of were-animals just hang straight down. At night, they run around on all fours in skins of wolf or coyote or bear. They paint their face just like the first scolder used to. Yellow on chin, black on nose, blue on the mouth, white on the forehead, except for the beads and skins and paint. They are naked. I never heard whether they wear G-strings or not. People who caught them didn't want to get very close. They were scared they would be witched. Those were-animals take the whole hide off a bear or mountain lion, where they take any kind of hide. They take the bones out and leave the claws. They put sticks in the legs to move the skin. With strings, they move the ears of the hide up and down. If you shoot at the head of one of these were animals, the shot will go right through the hide. Shoot at the animal's neck, and then the shot will go right through the real head of the witch. These witches put poison in your nose or your mouth. If a singer is half a witch and half singer, he puts something bad in the medicine he gives his patients, and then they die. These witches sit in a circle in a witch cave. They sing songs there. These, of course, weren't from one single person. Each paragraph, or group of paragraphs, represent a Navajo being questioned. These notes represent many different Navajo takes on witchery and were animals. This is from a Zuni who wrote it. It's a Zuni origin witch story. I figured it was interesting. Reading all of these stories of shapeshifters, skinwalkers, and evil beings, I'd like to share a very, very old story. A story as old as time itself, so please be respectful, because this story has strong Zuni beliefs. A story of a being with two hearts that thrives on the negative fear, pain, jealousy, and weakness of the people. A being that the Zuni referred to as Halaikwi, that uses its evil power to harm one another. Yes, that evil power is universal. We don't call them skinwalkers, we call them Halaikwis, which means sorcerer or witch, and yeah, they do shapeshift into different animals. The origin story of how Halaikwis came to be is also a part of our creation story. In the beginning, the people lived in the most fourth underworld, a world of soot where it was pitch black. The people were guided by the sound of the voices. The Sun Father wanted to see his children, therefore sent down his two sons, known as the twin war gods. With them, they brought knowledge, sacred prayers, and songs to help the people emerge from the underworlds. They planted prayer bundles within the underworlds. The trees grew, leading them out. The first tree was a fir tree, as they grow in dark environments. The people climbed the trees up into the next world, the world of gas. They repeated the same task, and a spruce tree grew as it can grow in harsh environments. But it took the tree a little longer to grow. Some people suffocated from the smell of the odor, but eventually the tree grew. Next was the world of algae. They repeated the same task as before, and a pine tree grew, as they can grow in the wet, mothy environments. The tree grew, entering the next world. The last world, the world of water, the people rested, as the war gods informed them of things to come in the coming days. The last tree, a bamboo tree, grew, leading into the world of daylight. For as they grow in wet, humid environments, the last tree was a test to see who was strong in mind and body, and to see how the people would work together in helping each other to overcome this test and prepare them for their quest to find a middle place, the promised land. The people helped each other climbing this long, slippery bamboo tree, but all worked together to overcome the task. Some fell back down into the underworlds to become dark beings. Working together as one, the people emerge from the four underworlds. As the first people came out, the war gods instructed the people to greet the sun with a prayer and embrace their father for the first time. As the sun rose over the horizon, the pain struck from the light of the sun and their eyes closed shut, but the war gods insisted to embrace, even if their eyes were in pain, but their eyes remained closed, only to be guided by voices and sound. The emergence took 4 years for all the people to come out. As that was happening, the war gods instructed the people on different survival tasks for their quest. The people gathered ready for their quest to find the middle place, guided by the twin war gods. They make sure all were together and proceeded on. As they began to leave the place of emergence, the Grand Canyon, there was a great earthquake in the rumble. That signaled that they had left one of the people behind in the place of emergence. So the war gods and the curious people went back to see who they had left behind. The last person to come out of the 4 underworlds. They saw a person sitting on a mound, but he was different from all the rest. They say he had 2 horns that stuck out from each side of his head with long hair, wide black open eyes like an owl. The war gods already knew this was an evil being, so they were about to kill him. But the evil being had knowledge that he used against them. He said if he gets killed, all will be lost, because with him, he had the 6 different colored corn that he used against the war gods as collateral and threatened to drop the seeds back into the 4 underworlds if he was killed. He said the people will need the corn in the near future. The soon-to-be white, yellow, blue, red, black, and multicolored corn. The second was he could control the world's population. With that said, he looked very hard at a small child, and the child fell dead, showing what kind of power he did possess. And the third was he knew that there was an afterlife for our people, and told the people they will see the child he had killed again when they pass on to the place called the Dance Hall of the Dead, the holy mountains they will find on their journey. With that, the war gods had no choice but to let him live, because they knew he was true to his word. And he was part of the balance of life, good and evil. The witch manipulated the war gods as they went on to their quest to find the middle place. Before they continued their quest, the war gods transformed the people into the beings we are today. When we entered the new world, we had webbed hands and feet, bat-like ears, tails from our tailbones, and skin like algae. As they got to a certain place, a lake, the twins led the people down into the depth of the lake, where they transformed the people. Using their arrowheads, the war gods cut the tails and opened the people eyelids. Their eyes were closed shut like a newborn infant's from living in the dark underworlds. They scraped off the algae from their skin and cut the webbings from their hands and feet. The ears were cut to their rightful size, and became the ashawi, the flesh of the people, the human form. As the war gods were busy with their cast, the witch snuck past the twins, where he also transformed himself into a human. So no one will recognize him or notice him tricking the people. That is why we can't tell who is a witch, a two-hearted being, good and evil. So the people continue on their long, epic quest to find the middle place. That is the origin of how the Halekwis came to be part of the world we live in. Back in the day, if a witch was caught, they would hold witch trials in the middle of the village at an old abandoned church. They would bind their hands behind their back and hang them on the church wall. They were questioned and reasons why they were prowling around the area. Some trials were scary, I had heard. Some shapeshifted into animals while they were hung on the wall with terrible screams, exposing themselves to people, but once they exposed themselves or another person found them to be a witch, they ended up dying or going crazy because of all the bad things they did to the people fell back on them. Some would just disappear, never to be heard again. But that practice has long since been discontinued. Wow, that was... these are stories that I love. prior to the origin story was just a bunch of little excerpts from a field book from an archaeologist, early 40s, late 30s. But the origin story, I remember, God, I was like 15, maybe 4. No, my cousin could drive that lived on the res, so I was about 16, and I went up to the res in upstate New York, and it was during a really bad time. The reservation was actually at war with the United States government. It was Hogansburg Reservation, the Aquasachie Reservation, and I remember seeing military helicopters flying ahead. But we did a sweat lodge, and I remember my uncle and my cousin and myself and an older native were doing this. And at the end of everything, we were actually sweating with rocks from Mount St. Helens. And at the end of everything, the older guy, we were sitting on the back porch and just was telling us like older stories, like stories that his grandfather shared with him. And it just reminded me of this story. You know, it's just how these stories were told. They're so rough, but so just delicate in the same sense, if you know what I mean. They're just the way they're worded, the way their perception of the world was and is just simply amazing to me. You know, I mean, these people lived for hundreds and hundreds of years before the Caucasians or Europeans were even here, you know, and they still thrive today. I mean, just yesterday or this morning, I was reading about a native tribe in Humboldt County, California, receiving a large island back that was sacred to them. And they fought for years to get this back. They don't give up. And then when they believe in something and there's belief and it's sacred, it could be 400 years later. Something is sacred. It's still sacred to them today. And that's what separates the culture we live in. I'm not going to say us because I'm just going to use the culture, because a lot of us listening do respect that way. But then there's those people that just don't give a shit, that would just rather have their iPhone and their knickknacks and just bullshit rather than have a little bit of information, you know, and just kind of smile, you know, because when I was reading this and narrating this to you guys, I was actually smiling, you know, because it's just so cool. Just the wording of it, you know, it's so rough, but just so delicate.
All right, folks, I hope you all enjoyed this night ending bonus as much as I enjoyed sharing it with you. Just a lot of very interesting stuff right there. I hope it really interested you, because things like this just get me going. I mean, my brain starts to just want more, and I start going down avenues that I just didn't think I was going to be going down, and then I start looking up other things, and you know, it's a good time researching and learning things, and I appreciate being able to share it with you guys, so thank you. I also appreciate the support that you give the channel. It really does make this channel continue to grow and go, and also it's what makes people want to share their experiences, theories, and ideas here, because there is no judgment or ridicule. I appreciate that. Please stay safe, happy, healthy, and ever vigilant, keeping an eye on our children, pets, family, and friends. These creatures are real. They're out there. They are dangerous. Share this information with those you love and care about, and it may just help save their lives someday. Until next time, never stop asking questions. Never stop searching for answers, and God bless.